Hey guys, I'm Ubiru and welcome back. So I recently paid for one of the Armoured Warfare limited access codes, which gives me access to the closed alpha of Armoured Warfare. Now Armoured Warfare, from what I've seen so far, is a fantastic game. It's very similar to World of Tanks in many respects. It does have some interesting differences, being that it's mainly Cold War era to late Cold War era to modern tanks instead of World War II and World War I tanks. Armoured Warfare is still in the early stages of release. From what I've seen so far, it's a fantastic game and it's very, very detailed. I noticed the maps are very detailed, the tanks are very detailed. Admittedly, the game isn't too optimized at the moment. I've noticed some FPS drops. On the forums as well, a lot of people complaining about some optimization errors in the game. But it is quite consistent on my system at around 40 frames per second. So I think I will do a full limited access review in the next couple of days or weeks to give you guys an insight to Armoured Warfare. But today I'll show you one of the games I had, one of the first games I had in the Scorpion, which is the Tier 2 light tank. Now this tank is quite interesting. It has two types of high explosive armament, both 76mm in caliber. I guess it's similar to some of the guns in World of Tanks, like the high explosive only guns, the derp guns, inverted commas, which do a large amount of damage to unarmored targets. Now these high explosive shells only penetrate for around 11mm, so it can't really penetrate anything other than artillery, but when it does penetrate, it does do a massive amount of damage. But even when you don't penetrate in this thing, it does do some damage. It's around 10 to 80% of the damage of penetration with a non-penetrating hit. So let's have a look at some of the gameplay of me playing in the Scorpion. Okay, this is one of my Scorpion replays on one of the sand maps. Now I'm not really sure what the map's called yet. I've literally had about 10 games in this game so far, 10 matches. I've noticed a few interesting things. There's up to 16 tanks per team, which is quite cool, against the World of Tanks 15. Now the tier system is very similar to World of Tanks. You have the tier 1s, the tier 2s, going up to the bigger tiers, the heavy tanks, the destroyers, and the artillery pieces. So this is the first match I had on this map, and I'm just going across the dunes, trying to stick with allies and seeing where the best place to go is. So I'm going to round A0, A1, to lurk around and maybe spot enemies from the opposite side. Now this map does look very pretty. The immersion of this game, from what I've seen so far, is fantastic. Look at that massive cloud of smoke in front of me. Very well detailed, and this is only around medium to high settings, so I think they've really outdone themselves in these early stages. So I'm following the allies here. I've noticed the suspension of this Scorpion is very strong. I've really thrown this thing about in this replay, hitting sand dunes, hitting rocks, and the track seems to maintain its durability. So I'm following some allies here. I've noticed that I haven't got the best matchmaking in the world. I said I've only had 10 games, but most of the matches other than this have been quite even. This match I'm in the Scorpion, which is a tier 2 tank, and I'm against some tier 4s. There's a T64 on the enemy team, quite a lot of Patterns, which is a very strong heavy tank, a couple of T62s, BMP1s, which are very strong, and a few Scorpions as well. So we're at a disadvantage in terms of matchmaking in this game, but we have two tier 4s. Now the highest tier I've got in the game so far is tier 2. So I've noticed in the Scorpion, it hasn't got the best gun depression in the world. This is a barely upgraded Scorpion, so I have practically no upgrades on this tank so far. Trying to get around this rock and fire at the target in the distance there. The gun is high explosive only, as I just mentioned. It's a very good derp gun against targets with little armor, but when you're against the bigger tanks, the heavy tanks, you do very, very minimum damage. So I'm trying to duke out with this BMP1, which is the same class as tank as this, but it's a tier 3. Now he's about to lurk behind that rock. I know he's there, going to fire one shot, but you can see the velocity of these shells isn't very high, so I did miss that shot, and the arcing isn't very good as well. So now I've been spotted, so if I merge there again, I might get lucky, I might hit him first, or he might hit me first. Now the average damage of guns around tier 2 and 3 isn't overly high, but when you get to tier 4 and above, the average damage can pretty much kill me in 1 or 2 shots. So I know he's there, going to fire one shot, missed my shot, but he got me. He hit me for around 250 damage. Now in this tank I have around 660 health. That's not an awful lot. I only have 400 of that remaining. I've seen that as a bad opportunity to duke out with that guy over there, so I'm going to follow this AMX-10 and go around the map, use the very fast speed of this tank, get around and see if we can flank the enemy. So the suspension of this tank is very good, going down and no damage to the suspension at all, unlike in World of Tanks, where if I did that in a medium tank or a light tank such as the AMX, I would very easily wreck my suspension. So there are a couple of tanks in front of me, a tier 2 LAV. I can't get the depression down to hit these targets from this distance, so I need to emerge from the lower part of the sand. There's a tier 2 there and a tier 3. They can't see me. I'm going to fire one shot at this pattern, but there you see 55 average damage. The pattern is very, very well armoured, and that's a very, very low damage roll. I hit him in the area where he is very thickly armoured, so I did very minimum damage. So at this point we are losing by one tank. There's one tank here, the Scorpion. I thought he was about to emerge, so I was getting my gun ready to fire at him. Scorpion's the same tank as this. If I fired at him, if he emerged, I would have very easily killed him. But of course he moved back, he probably spotted me, and he's now duking out with the pattern. Of course the pattern finishes him off. There's a Scorpion there. I'm going to blow a hole in this wall so I can fire at him again. High explosive does not penetrate walls in this game, same as in World of Tanks. Going to fire one shot on the Scorpion, side shot, hit him for 360 damage, set him on fire, wrecked his crew. He's still on fire. I was hoping we'd get the kill here, but he repaired, and he only has 60 health left. So the likelihood of him emerging again is very, very small. So at this point I can't find any decent targets. They're all being attacked by allies from different directions. We're winning at this point though. We did get back one tank. There's a BMP there firing one shot into the side, 280 damage, critical hit. I think we either knocked out his track or one of his modules. So there's M60 pattern there, very good armor. I'm not going to attack him from this distance. I'm going to go a bit forward with my allies and try and get around them and finish off the game. So there's a BMP there, using the sand dunes to his cover. I can't fire him effectively, and the velocity of this gun isn't very high, so it takes some time for the shell to hit the target. So not the best target to shoot at. Going to go forward with some allies, maybe attack some of them at the front. So at this point there are 3 M60 patterns remaining and a T64. Now the patterns and the T64 are very well armoured, and they can dish out a lot of damage. So I need to be careful here. In the Scorpion, doesn't have an awful lot of health or armour. Going to do one hip fire shot at the pattern. I missed. The accuracy of this tank on the move isn't very good unless you upgrade it. And I haven't upgraded this tank just yet. So I'm hugging this wall now. There's an M60 pattern there. Going to put one shot into him. There's a wall there. Can't fire through the wall. There he is. One shot into the side of him. 109 damage. Not too bad. 96 health left. I was hoping I can get the kill. But there's a problem with the mouse wheel at the moment in this game. I've noticed the mouse wheel doesn't aim as fast as it does in World of Tanks, so of course I had a little bit of a delay there and I missed the target. So there's 2 tanks remaining, the M60 pattern and the T64. M60 pattern's there, BMP rushing in, going to fire one side shot for 119 damage, knocked out his track, he's now dead there. He's getting his gun around to try and finish the BMP. That leaves the back for me to finish him off. 122 damage, 36 health left. He's got his track back up, he's moving to try and get the BMP, firing one shot into the side of him, and finished him off. T64 was killed, and we won the game. So that's like a brief insight to Armoured Warfare. From what I've seen from the game so far, it's fantastic. As you can see here, the credits, experience, and damage I've done, we've got 1,590 experience, 35,000 credits. In terms of damage, we got Elite. That's 1,337. So this is a good title for the video, Elite. And in terms of team damage, that guy, the T64, the tier 4 tank, got 4 kills and nearly 5,000 damage. So I think we did quite well considering we're in a tier 2 tank in this game. It was a good win overall. We got nearly 800 base experience. So this game is very similar to World of Tanks. It's definitely more upbeat, modern version. It's got a quite nice UI, but it needs more optimization, and it's still the very early stages. So I'm looking forward to doing some more videos of this game in the future. I can see that this game will be quite big in the very near future. So we'll be doing more videos of Armoured Warfare in the near future. Thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.